Hi friend, it's Pat Sloan here for my daily video, and today is Friday. So I'm celebrating Fridays by wearing a quilty t-shirt. It's So What? From the Fat Quarter Shop. They have several really cute t-shirts. They did one for the cross-stitch ladies, the housewives of cross-stitch. They did it for a Christmas one. I missed getting that one, but they did get them back in. So if you missed it and you want to pick one up, I'll link to the t-shirts below and at my website. So the first post will be to my website where you can get all the links. So on Friday, two things right now. We're doing Sewcialites, and we also have UFO Friday, because that's just sort of my ultimatum. Every Friday I think, okay, I got to work on a UFO this weekend, something over or through till next Friday, you know, pick something. This week I'm going to pick a binding. I'm going to get a binding done, one of the bindings from 2020, maybe the Out West. That's what I'm thinking. So leave me a note, tell me what UFO you are working on or will work on, do a little bit to move it forward. So that is our challenge. So we're going to have a little UFO challenge, get something moved forward. So that's your assignment. Now the block this week for Sewcialites is really nice. I like this block. They call it Genuine. So every block they have named genuine, like quilting is a genuine love of mine. Is that yours too? Yeah, I think so. I think we could all say it's genuinely a lovely hobby and genuinely something we want to do all the time. Do, there's my word. Got it in. My word of the year. So this is not a hard block. It's really fun. There's some sew and flips, which if you have not mastered sew and flip yet, you might get my triangle book, so that will help you out to see it in step-by-step photos. So if you don't have that yet, you can pick it up. All right, so I was going to I got all excited because I was going to do the warmest spot, or I am going to do the warmest spot block from Block Wednesday, block number 2, as I sew things. And so I cut up a couple of them. I don't know how many I'm going to cut up. And it was very interesting to go into my bin of sort of medium to light blue fabrics and find out that I don't have a ton of that shade, and I was really looking for pieces that were smaller so that I could use them up and just sort of, you know, get them out of the bin. And I didn't find as many of those. Many of them were bigger pieces. So that meant that I was then trimming off like the excess, like, you know, okay, we'll trim this off, make it 2.5 inch squares and put them with my scrap system. So I had to hunt around, but I ended up getting 3 blocks cut. And then I sewed one because I was just so excited I wanted to sew one. So here it is. I'm supposed to wait. I'm supposed to be sewing it as I sewed other things. So I did another block. So now I have 2. These are going to be so fabulous. I don't know. I'm just going to make them until I sort of get tired of rooting around in the bin. I would like to make them all. My goal originally was to make them all different, like they would all have different fabrics. I wouldn't repeat the fabrics in any of the blocks, but if I'm getting a piece that looks like I can use it up, I might have to change that. I might change it so that I use up a piece of fabric, because that would be even a better goal, wouldn't it? Use it up. So here is what I did in my rolling card. I wanted to show you so you could really see. Okay, so this is the top of the rolling card, and I cleared it out so that right now I have, like, this is the center. These are the pieces here, the stripe. I'm actually looking for stripes for all of this to go that part around the block. I'm looking for stripes. I don't know if I have to probably repeat. And then this is the dark part that goes around, and then these are the outer pieces. So I can sew as I'm sewing. I will start with units that go together. So this is like the 2 patch, right? So on this one, here we go. I gotta get it in camera. So that's the 2 patch. There's 2.5 inch squares. So as I make them, I shift them over here. These strips will be sewn together. And so I will probably try to shift it over here so that I can sew them together and then put them next to it. I've got just enough room. So I can work on it like that as I'm sewing other things, and it's all in the cart there and easy for me to get to. So I had to clear the top of the cart out though. That was my original goal with one of these carts, was to always have the top of it as like a work in progress, so I can just roll it over and pick it up and start working on it. But what happens? I dump things in there and then it's not usable. So now that this is cleared out again, it has it in there. We'll see how that goes. So as I was clearing all this out, I got the little cross stitch project for the year out. Because I need to get this I need to get it all organized. So here are each month. So we'll start with the snowman, and then I'll also be doing the border part. Where's my finger? Okay, whoops, there we go. The border around it. I'm doing this backwards. Okay, you get the idea. I've got the Aida cloth, and I have the thread. What I didn't do is get it out, get this into a hoop. So like down here is the hoop, and this was a gift, the protector, the edge protector, so that the edges of the cloth stay nice. So I'm going to get this all hooped up today and start that snowman. This is a heart to hand project. So it is really cute. I think I can manage that for, you know, once a month doing that. But this is what happened when I started clearing the bin. Then I was like, oh, I didn't get to that yet. I better get to it. So I have a Q&A, which I thought was interesting because nobody's asked this recently. So I thought, well, I'll answer this one. So it is, where's my Q&A? It's from Ginger, and I believe she left this on YouTube. I'm not sure. But Ginger wanted to know, what does Greg, my husband Greg, the shipping department, do in the business? And does he sew or does he quilt? It's like, first of all, no, he could sew and he could quilt, and he has tried it, but it's just not his thing. That's not what he does. He manages the back end or the back office or the stuff you don't see. Anything you don't see about running a business is basically what Greg does. So it's a lot of accounting, tracking, you know, all kinds of finance things, the you know, behind the scenes of what you're looking at on technical stuff. He also does all of the technical work as far as keeping all the computers running. If there's errors and, you know, technical errors, he will fix those. You know, his background is engineering, so he's electrical engineer by degree, and he was a tech writer by his profession, and he wrote things like how to fix fighter aircraft and you know, those kind of things. So he's got a background in writing. So the other stuff he does is a lot of the things for our home to keep it running. That way I don't have to do it, so I have more time to work on the things that you see. So he does, you know, a lot of the household stuff. We share it, but he takes a bigger load on that, and that way I don't have to be fiddling with, you know, maintenance on the house or just doing the grocery run. You know, he will do that, and but the business stuff, a lot of that is just everything you don't see. It's all the managing of the behind the scenes stuff. I do all the writing, I do all the creating. I have someone who helps me sew, and so that, you know, as a business, there's no way I could just sew all of this myself. So Melanie helps me sew, and that's pretty much, I do all the writing that you see. I do all the photography. Greg will advise on photography, and he occasionally does some of the photography. He's a really good photographer. But I really like taking the photos because I know what I want to see. And so, so there is the long story of what Greg does in the business. It's just the stuff you don't see. It's like, if you think about it, anything about running a business that you don't see up front here, he's doing it. Okay. I had another question that Diana asked, and I think she asked this over at the Facebook group, and she said, what does it mean to document your quilts? So think of it as genealogy. If you're familiar with genealogy, you want to track things. You want to know like who married who and how many kids did they have and where did they live, you know, your family history. Your quilts are the same. You want to know the information about the quilt. You made it, who quilted it, who did you make it for, when did you make it, what was the name of the pattern, where did you live when you made it. Those are the things that most people will document. If you have a story about the quilt, you could put that on the label like I did with my Dear Jane. In addition, if you're published like I am, I would put where it's published, like it was in a magazine or it was in a book or it was done for this blog tour or done for this manufacturer. But for you, it's like your name, the date, where it was made, who you made it for, and when you put your name, don't put, you know, grandma, or don't put just grandma, don't put nana, you know, because down the road there might be another grandma and another nana in your family, and people won't remember which one made it. I had both of my great grandmothers were called mama, so if they had quilted and they had put mama on there, I wouldn't know which one did it because they both called themselves the same name. So put your real name, but you can always put Mama and then in parentheses, you know, Pat Sloan. And so that way you know, your family knows, the great-great-great-grandchildren know down the road someday that this is the quilt made by Mama, who was also Pat, you know, that kind of a thing. One more little share here. Thank you for those questions. I love getting the questions. I'll have to put up a new blog post, or you can, sometimes I see them in YouTube. I miss stuff. So, you know, if it's a super important question, you have to email me. But I skim the comments and I look for things, so keep them coming. Now on the red, I think I mentioned to you that I wanted to put a little border around it. With these squares, if I send this to long arm quilting, if I send it to the spa to be long arm quilted, there's a lot of seams along here. And when you pull, you could get those seams popping. So I always put a little 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch strip around quilts that have a lot of seams on it, instead of just stay stitching. Stay stitching would be doing a straight line around the whole outside, which you could also do. I like the look of having this little rim, which I could then trim down fairly small so that you end up only like maybe with 1/4 of an inch if you want, and then your binding goes on it. So I was looking around. I was just going to do a solid looking red, but when I pulled my red bin out, I saw the stripes and I saw the diagonal stripe. So there you go. I love it, I love it. I think this looks so great. So now I have to get a backing, and I may just do one of those wide backs that I have with the words. I think I may just go for that. Originally I was like, oh, I'll do a red backing, but you know what? I'm loving the wide backs, so I think I'm gonna just get a wide back and cut that, and off it goes, because I want to get doing the things I can more easily do right now and still let the quilting be done at the spa, majority of the quilting at the spa. Oh, okay, that's it. If you didn't download your pattern, your calendar, today is Sewcialites Day, so you can get the block and make this cutie up, this genuine quilt block. It's nice, huh? I like it. All right, my friend, thank you for being here. Mwah. I love you. See you online.